Have you ever wondered how critical safety checks are before a flight? Today, we'll dive into a tragic incident that emphasizes just how vital these checks are. It's the story of Northwest Airlines Flight 255, a flight that met a devastating fate. On August 16, 1987, Northwest Airlines Flight 255 took off from Detroit. But only seconds after lifting off, disaster struck. This incident changed aviation safety standards forever. Let's explore the details leading to this fateful takeoff, broken down into vital steps. First, we need to understand the flight itself. Flight 255 was scheduled to travel to Phoenix, Arizona. It had 149 passengers and 6 crew members on board. Before every flight, a critical process begins, focusing on safety checks. The crew performs pre-flight inspections and reviews procedures. For this flight, some crucial checks weren't conducted fully. Next, weather conditions played a significant role. The day was clear, but the takeoff checklist was crucial. The pilots overlooked some important elements, affecting their liftoff. As the plane took off, it encountered a problem. The flaps were not set correctly. This led to inadequate lift needed to climb. Once airborne, the aircraft began to struggle. Just 31 seconds after takeoff, it crashed into a nearby highway. This tragic occurrence took the lives of 155 people on board. A key factor in such accidents is understanding the controls. Pilots must be aware of their aircraft's specifications. In this case, the consequences were dire when these airspace rules were ignored. To put this into perspective, think about a car. If you overlook checking your brakes, you risk an accident. The same principle applies here. Routine checks save lives. Now, let's summarize what we've learned. Safety checks are non-negotiable in aviation. Attention to detail is critical for pilots and crew members. Weather conditions and aircraft specifications must be strictly adhered to. This incident highlighted the need for better training and protocols. It paved the way for improved aviation safety standards. To conclude, always prioritize safety in any operation. Appreciate how a simple checklist can save lives. Stay informed about aviation safety and keep learning. If you found this story powerful, share it with others. Subscribe for more aviation history and safety insights. Thank you for watching. On that fateful day, as the aircraft lifted off, the crew's oversight came into sharper focus. The cockpit buzzed with activity, but amidst the chaos, the importance of adherence to safety protocols should have prevailed. In that moment, as the plane struggled to gain altitude, the pilots frantically attempted to rectify the misconfiguration. The cockpit alarms blared relentlessly, signaling the impending disaster with a haunting urgency. Time was slipping away, and their decisions would dictate the fate of everyone on board. With each second, the pilots' desperation grew, and their voices rose in frantic tones, trying to communicate amidst the cacophony of alarms. "We need to adjust the flaps," one exclaimed, as they scrambled to execute last-minute corrections. The heavy aircraft, however, felt unresponsive, as if it were a harbinger of the grim fate that awaited them. Outside the cockpit, passengers had no idea of the turmoil unfolding just beyond their sight. Some were still settling in, blissfully unaware of the danger that loomed overhead. As the plane veered dangerously close to the ground, a moment of sheer panic filled the cockpit. "We're losing altitude," another pilot shouted, eyes wide with fear as they desperately scanned the instruments for a solution. The weight of responsibility hung heavy in the air, each second stretching into eternity as the aircraft descended. Their training echoed in their minds, but instinct took over in this critical moment, urging them to act quickly, to regain control before it was too late. Meanwhile, a chorus of confused voices erupted among the passengers, a mix of anxiety and disbelief at the sudden change in their experience. The realization began to dawn on them: something was dreadfully wrong. "We need to stabilize the plane," one of the pilots shouted, adrenaline surging through their veins as they fought to maintain composure amidst the chaos. They adjusted the controls once more, hoping to coax the aircraft into responding. But the warnings continued to blare, each sound a grim reminder of the growing crisis. In the cabin, a child's innocent laughter suddenly pierced the tension, juxtaposing their carefree joy with the grim reality unfolding just beyond the thin walls. The flight attendants tried to reassure passengers, voices strained yet calm: "Everything is fine, please remain in your seats," but the underlying uncertainty was palpable. Outside the windows, the ground rushed closer, an unsettling reminder that the situation was spiraling out of control. In that critical moment, the pilots exchanged frantic glances, silently aware that their collective knowledge and experience were being put to the ultimate test as they raced against time, determined to avert disaster. "Pull up! Pull up!" one pilot urged, but the aircraft's stubborn metal groaned in protest, refusing to comply. Their training had prepared them for emergencies, yet nothing could truly ready them for the harrowing reality of their descent. In those fleeting seconds, lives hung in the balance, tethered to the choices made in desperation. In the blink of an eye, the plane crashed down, shattering innocence and dreams in a brutal instant. The echoes of alarm fell silent, replaced by an eerie stillness. Tragically, this would become a lasting lesson in aviation safety, urging us to never forget the cost of complacency. In the aftermath of the crash, investigators quickly mobilized to uncover the factors that led to such a tragedy. They meticulously examined the wreckage, seeking answers that could prevent future disasters. With a keen focus on pilot training and the adherence to safety protocols, the investigative team began piecing together the events leading up to that fateful takeoff. Their findings would ultimately shape aviation policies, highlighting the pressing need for stringent adherence to safety measures. It became clear that every detail, no matter how seemingly minor, could be the difference between life and death. Through rigorous analysis, they aimed to ensure that the legacy of Flight 255 would serve as a constant reminder of the critical importance of vigilance in aviation. As the investigation progressed, the realities of human error began to emerge, revealing how a brief moment of oversight could have such catastrophic consequences. Pilots, under pressure and with the weight of lives in their hands, frequently face unimaginable stress, yet it is crucial for them to maintain vigilance at all times. The team noted areas where training could be enhanced, encouraging airlines to refine simulation exercises that replicated high-pressure situations. These insights not only served to honor the memory of those lost but also inspired changes that would echo throughout the industry. In the end, it is the lessons learned from tragedies like Flight 255 that ultimately drive progress in ensuring every flight is as safe as it can be. As the investigators delved deeper, they uncovered a harrowing truth: the flaws were not just technical but systemic. Rampant complacency regarding safety checks had seeped into the workflow, urging the need for comprehensive cultural changes within the airline industry. Discussions about refining checklists and enhancing communication among crew members became paramount, spotlighting a collective responsibility to uphold safety standards. Furthermore, they recommended incorporating lessons learned from near misses, ensuring that every pilot and crew member recognized the value of every second and every decision made in the cockpit. These recommendations aimed to foster an environment where safety was prioritized, extending beyond mere compliance to a deeper, intrinsic understanding of its significance. By addressing these underlying issues, the industry could work toward a future where incidents like Flight 255 became a distant memory rather than an impending reality. As recommendations were implemented, a cultural shift began to unfold within the airline industry, emphasizing the importance of individual accountability among crew members. Airlines started mandating regular training sessions that focused not only on technical proficiency, but also on cultivating an attitude of safety vigilance. Swapping stories of near misses and discussing lessons learned became essential components of these sessions. This newfound commitment to safety fostered a sense of unity among flight crews, reinforcing that each member played a vital role in passenger safety. Together, they reiterated the mantra that safety checks are not just procedures, they are an embodiment of care and responsibility toward every person on board. Each flight became a mission, a collective agreement to protect lives by adhering to stringent protocols, ensuring the tragic lessons of Flight 255 would resonate through every takeoff. As the industry adapted, the impact of the Flight 255 tragedy extended beyond immediate safety changes. It also ignited public discourse surrounding travel safety. Passengers began to demand to know more about the safety records of airlines, prompting regulatory bodies to enhance transparency measures. This newfound awareness meant that airline companies had to face scrutiny like never before, as consumers actively sought assurance that safety protocols were being followed diligently. In response, airlines made strides to communicate their commitment to safety, promoting their rigorous training programs and safety check records. Furthermore, grassroots movements advocating for passenger rights emerged, emphasizing the right of travelers to fly with peace of mind. The tragic story of Flight 255 became more than just a harrowing account. It transformed into a rallying call for changes in aviation safety perceptions, emphasizing that passengers have a voice in holding airlines accountable. Airlines began to recognize that a reputation for safety was invaluable, leading to an industry-wide recognition that proactive measures and genuine communication could foster trust in the flying public. Safety became the cornerstone of their branding, integrating continual learning and improvement as part of their core ethos. The momentum for change continued to grow as regulatory agencies collaborated with airline executives to develop more stringent oversight policies. They implemented regular audits to ensure compliance with safety measures, reinforcing the critical message that every flight requires unwavering diligence. Additionally, the data collected from past incidents, including Flight 255, were meticulously analyzed to identify patterns and root causes of failures. This analysis led to comprehensive updates in aircraft design and system redundancies, aimed at improving overall safety. Ultimately, the lessons learned from this tragedy became the foundation for a new era in aviation, one that prioritizes the well-being of every individual on board, ensuring that the legacy of Flight 255 is never forgotten. As the industry shifted towards a safety-first culture, pilots and crew members began to feel a renewed sense of responsibility for their roles. Simulating emergencies became an integral part of their training, focusing not only on technical skills but also on enhancing communication and teamwork. Together, they practiced responding to crisis situations, fostering a deeper understanding of each crew member's vital contribution to safety. This collective effort to improve preparedness meant that future flights would benefit from invaluable lessons learned from the past. Each successful simulation reinforced the importance of vigilance and adherence to protocols, instilling confidence in the crews as they prepared to take to the skies. As we reflect on the advancements in aviation safety that followed Flight 255, it becomes clear that the journey toward change is ongoing. Each measure taken to ensure the highest standards of safety honors not just the memory of those lost but serves as a bulwark against future tragedies. Stringent protocols, improved training, and a culture of accountability continue to shape the aviation landscape, fostering an environment where safety is paramount. Ultimately, it is this commitment to vigilance, education, and shared responsibility that will keep the tragic lessons of Flight 255 alive and influence generations of pilots and crew to come. As the airline industry embraced these changes, families of the victims found comfort in knowing their loved ones' legacy contributed to meaningful progress. They became advocates for safety reforms, sharing their stories and experiences to elevate the conversation surrounding aviation safety. This was more than just about policy for them, it was about honoring lives lost by ensuring that no other family would have to endure a similar heart-wrenching loss. Their collective voice resonated throughout the industry, a poignant reminder of the human cost associated with safety oversights. In honoring the memory of those aboard Flight 255, they injected a powerful emotional narrative into the mission for improved aviation standards. In the years that followed, the aviation industry experienced transformations driven by both policy changes and a shift in culture. Airlines worked tirelessly to build a new framework of safety that would prioritize the protection of passengers above all else. Through perseverance, the tragic lessons learned from Flight 255 became integral to a safer future in aviation. In the wake of these transformative changes, an unwavering commitment to safety began to define the industry. Each flight became a testament to the lessons of the past, a solemn promise that safety would never again be taken for granted. The legacy of Flight 255 continues to remind us that safety in aviation is not just a series of checks, it is a profound commitment to protecting lives, ensuring that every voice advocating for vigilance is heard and respected. Through ongoing efforts, we aspire to create a future where such tragedies remain